Good morning, average engineers. The weekend is over, Monday is here, and I've got one to talk about for you. Is Python object-oriented programming the devil or savior? Is it dead or alive? I don't think there's any subject that will just get people out of the woodwork of the interwebs quicker than someone saying anything, especially bad about object-oriented programming OOP, and especially in the context of Python. I mean, that's like two fattened calves. I mean, ready them for the slaughter, sharpen your knives. I mean, this just gets people going when you talk about this stuff. And somebody talked about it, and surprisingly, it wasn't me for once. Who would have guessed? Recently, I saw a post by the illustrious Matt Martin. He's a staff engineer. He's active on LinkedIn, just started a Substack. Go check it out. He's a great guy. Posts stuff about data engineering, Golang, Python, and sometimes Rust if he wants to make me mad. But he's an awesome guy, smart, and I really enjoy his takes because he says things that mean something a lot of times. In today's world, you get a lot of people just posting the same old stuff. This is what Databricks is. This is what Snowflake. Matt's not one of those guys. He shares real insights that are really good. Anyways, Matt posted something on LinkedIn last week that just blew up, and it's, I've been sitting here eating my popcorn and watching it. It's just nice to see somebody else, take the heat for once. But basically what he said, our classes in Python are useless. There, I said it. You're welcome, man. That's awesome. Way to go, Matt. That's super funny. It's so true. I mean, people wouldn't be commenting. It wouldn't blow up if it wasn't true. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some truth in that. Otherwise, people wouldn't be talking about it and they wouldn't care. Let's be honest here. You don't really have to be much of like a soothsayer. You don't have to be a prophet, or you don't have to rub that crystal ball too hard to figure out that when it comes to OOP, things are changing in data engineering, in programming in general. I mean, it's on the wind. You can pick it up. You can see it. I mean, the age of the Primegean, things are changing. OOP finally is showing some cracks here and there. I think that, that classic, age of the slacks wearing in the corporate office .NET developer who can't do anything but write OOP and C#, whatever. I mean, things are changing. Things are coming to an end. Tools like Golang, Rust, they're starting to gain momentum, and, people are starting to actually go back to the old school of like imperative procedural programming. Even functionals becoming popular. And honestly, OOP is just being used less, and it's just looked on not as it used to be. It's looked down upon a little bit more, maybe as it should be, than it was in the past. And honestly, the case for object-oriented programming, especially with Python, it hasn't been helped by Python, because in Python you can be dirty. It's not statically typed language. It's just, you can be as dirty as you want, and that kind of bleeds over into writing object-oriented programming. It's probably had a lot of damage done by Python programmers who are overzealous, new people. Basically what it comes down to is that Python classes and OOP have been overused and misused by a ton of people. Call them mid programmers, call them mediocre, whatever, new people. I mean, it's just patently obvious to the casual observer that things have just gone too far. You could take, for example, one of the people that commented on Matt's take on LinkedIn was John Cricket. He's pretty well known, and even he said not useless, but very often overused. And I think that really gets to the heart of it, that it is overused for sure. So does what Matt said hold true? Are Python classes worthless? I mean, for most people, yes, it's actually true. It's the 80-20 rule. Yes, for most people, he's correct. Python classes are dead. It's good advice for new and upcoming people. Let's knock it off, basically. Like learn to program a little bit. Not everything is a class. Not everything needs to be solved. Not everything needs inheritance, and you're just overcomplicating and make a mess of things, really. So yes, for most of the people out there, it is good advice. I mean, if you go look on the interwebs, unfortunate part is most of the classes, courses, videos, tutorials, that's how they introduce you to programming a lot of times is, they want to be cool. They want to teach OOP, and the side effect is that a lot of new people coming into the world just reach for OOP because they think you have to do it from default, and that's not really the case. You're shooting yourself in the foot a lot of times. I'm not saying OOP and Python, classes are totally useless. I mean, there are some use cases for them. Even myself, in the last few years, I have had a number of instances, not very many, 1 or 2, 3, where I've used Python classes myself just because I needed things like inheritance, and it just made sense for this really narrow topic I was working on. But even in that circumstance, you just need to be careful and keep things narrow and don't let it get out of hand. I mean, the last thing we need is another generation of know-it-all people just polluting the AI and LLM overlords with basically Python object-oriented programming, because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then everything will be that. So, way to go, Matt. Keep it up.